Namaste to all. I Sangita Patel welcome you all to Om Divine Healing channel, and in this video I am going to answer a few questions which most of the parents always ask me. And one of the questions which comes to me is that parents always tell me that their kids do not listen to them or they do not behave well. And most of the time, like they disrespect their elders and their parents as well. And why is that so? I'll be also sharing few real examples to make you guys understand that why kids behave in certain way. As a parent, we all want that our kids to be the most disciplined, well-mannered kids, right? We want them that they should respect each and everyone, including our parents and of course their grandparents. But sometimes kids do not behave, and most of the time they have tantrums, and in the tantrums they even say bad words and use bad language. And why it's happening? Most of the time what happens is that parents knowingly, unknowingly say certain things or use certain language in front of young kids which they are not supposed to. And sometimes they think that kids are very young, so they are not able to understand or they are not paying attention. But you are wrong. When kids are very young, we have to be very mindful and very careful the language, the words which we are using in front of them. And I would like to share an example of my own son. I still remember that he was in a kindergarten, and at that time also we used to be very mindful and careful which movies we used to watch with our kids. And we watched one movie, it was about the robots, and I do not exactly remember the name, but what happened that in that, there is a fight between two robots, a good robot and the bad robot. And my son pretend to be he's the good one. So next day when he went to school, he tried to act as a robot, and he tried to grab a neck of some kid. I mean, he was trying to play, he was not trying to choke that one. For him, he was acting as a robot, right? And when I went to pick him up, I got a complaint from his teacher. So we make him sit down and we make him understand that he is not supposed to act in a school like this. And after that, we had stopped watching even this kind of film with the kids. So we have to be very mindful and careful what we are doing in front of the kids. Even there are certain movies and shows which we should not be watching with the kids. And even today's my kids are even older, still we make sure that certain movies and shows we do not watch in front of our kids or do not watch with the kids. Also, when kids are very young, right, and the people which they are surrounded with or people with whom they are associated on daily basis, they get to learn or they learn so many different things just watching all these people. And I would like to share an example that one of my cousin, he was very young, and his dad used to take him to his office, right? And his office, all kind of people used to come. And to our surprise, we noticed that he was using bad words for each and every one. I mean, for him, it was just a word. He doesn't know the meaning of this word. Just because he was listening to this word more often, he started using this word unknowingly that this is bad word. So, it is very, very important as a parent when kids are very, very young. What kind of language we are using in front of kids and what are the words we are using in front of the kids. I still remember that when kids were young, even today, me or my husband or my in-laws, we never ever argue in front of my kids. We do not even fight or do not raise voice in front of our kids ever since they were young. Because what happened is that when kids see their parents raising voice, when they see their parents fighting in front of them, they think it is very natural and they can also behave in this manner. I still remember that we were in the car and I was talking to this person and I was supposed to go to their place, but because of some reason I couldn't go. So I just give an excuse because I don't want them to feel bad. And after the call was done, my daughter told me that, Mom, you lied to that person. And I realized it, oh my God. Unknowingly, like my daughter realized it that I lied. I wasn't lying. I just gave an excuse and then I explained to my daughter what was the thing and she understand. From that day, like I was being very mindful and very careful when my kids are around my car, what I'm talking and to whom I'm talking. So these are the very small, small things which we do not realize as a parent, which kids catch it up, and where kids actually see us, the way we behave, the way we talk, and they learn most of the time seeing us, the way we behave and the way we talk. So it's not their fault, but somewhere it's our fault unknowingly, without realizing. We act and behave in certain way which is impacting our kids. I still remember that one lady came to my guruma, and like she came for the counseling with her son, and she just told my guruma that her kid sometimes do not listen to them, and when he asks for certain things or certain kids, he just want that kid, otherwise he will stop eating, or he just won't do things what we say, right? And it is very obvious. So my guru is such a loving, and she's love kids, and she's very good with the kids. And so she tried to understand why this kid is behaving in a certain way. So she started talking to the kid, and she just told him that, why do you behave in such a way? And the kid told her, and you will be surprised the answer what the kid gave to my guruma. And he just told her that, I have learned from my mom. Even the mom was surprised that I never taught this to my kids. And so he told my guruma that once my mom wore a diamond necklace and my dad didn't got it. So she stopped eating, and she just told him that, I'm not going to eat till I get this diamond necklace, and my dad finally got, and then she ate. So see, this is a very small thing, but see how kids take it, our actions and our words, and how they learn from our actions and our words, right? So this is very, very important for all the parents, especially when the kids are very young, to make sure that you do not use certain language, certain words, even you do not raise your voice in front of your kids. I would like to share one more example. So this is about few years back when my son was in second or third grade. A new girl came to his class, and to our surprise, like whenever my son would come from the school, he would be so frustrated, he would get so angry, and I do not know how to control him, because the girl, he used to always get in trouble. Not only him, but there were the kids also. The parents of the kids also realized that because of her, their kids were getting into trouble, or because like sometimes she even hit the kids in a certain way, that one time that one kid eye was actually shaved. So like then when I talked to the principal, I told him that if you check the record of my son, you will see that you never ever complaints in so many years. But after this girl had come to the school and his class, ever since I have noticed that I am getting complaints from the teachers, and also I have noticed that ever since he would come home, he's so frustrated, so angry, and sometimes he's out of control. And then what happened is that there was a teacher used to come um, to teach my kids at home. She was a tutor, and so like my relationship was good with her, and we were just talking, and she told me that, yeah, like this girl parents, I mean, I don't know, but one time she went to a store and she saw this girl, and of course the girl know that, so this lady also goes to the school and teach kids over there. She give tuition over there too. And she just told me that when this girl saw her, she just ran to her and started talking. And she was very much surprised, because her mom even didn't notice, or her grandmother even didn't notice, or they even didn't realize that where the daughter went, right? And we found out that her mother and father got separated. She was living with her mother, but her mother and grandmother were using so much of abusive language in front of her. And like they were not even stopping her the way she was behaving. And for them, it was okay because she was the only child, and they were just pampering her a lot. They even didn't realize it that her behavior is really affecting other kids. So it is very, very important for us as a parent that we should be very mindful and careful what we are doing in front of our kids. I've also got a question from so many parents that my kids are not behaving with adults, or maybe kids are being very rude to older people or the parents, the grandparents. And why it's happening? So because we have to see that as a parent, are we behaving in a good manner with our in-laws and with the older people? Most of the time, ladies, I have seen that they are not talking nicely and not behaving nicely with their own in-laws. Even it is very important, people who are working at your home, whether it can be a driver, whether it can be a helper, anybody, you should be behaving in a nicer way with them. Because when you're not behaving with them in a nicer way, your kids are learning this from you, and when they will grow older, same way they won't respect anybody. So these are the very small things we have to be very, very careful. I still remember when I used to take my kids to India, and in India it is very obvious that people who are working at your home or people who are working outside, sometimes it is very obvious that for whom they are working, they use sometimes abusive language, or they do not respect them. And my kids never liked it. And so, like I used to make them and I used to explain my kids and make them understand. And like I try to make sure that if certain things happen, my kids are not there, because my kids have never ever seen such behavior over here. Even I have maid who come at my home and clean every 15 days, but my kids know the way I behave, the way I talk with them. Even my kids have seen and noticed this thing. So this is very, very important for each and every one of us, how we are behaving with others, and are we giving the respect to the older people with whom we are living and people whom we are surrounded with. Most of the time I have seen that people living in the house, they do not respect each other. Even I have seen that daughter-in-law not respecting in-laws, and this is not good for your kids, guys. We have to be very, very mindful, we have to be very, very careful, especially when we have younger kids and they are growing in front of us. I still remember when my son was young, I think it's 6 7 years back, and like he being a playful kid, he would just put away his things here and there. So one time I still remember that like my maid came to clean up the house and they left, and when he come back from the school, he asked me that, mom, who went into my room? And I told him that they were the maid, they came to clean up the house, so of course they must have went. And so he told me that like I'm not able to find my certain toy, so I think they have stolen it. At that very moment, I stopped him. I said, come here, and I talked to him. I just told him that because they are working, they are coming to clean up our house. Just because they do not have enough money, that does not mean they are going to take away your toy. And I have told him and explained nicer way, this is first and the last time you have said something about them. From onwards, I do not want you to say this thing, not for them but for anybody, because they do not have enough money. That's the reason they are coming and working at our home, right? They are cleaning our house, and that's how they make the money. So this is what we have to teach our kids. So it is very, very important as a parent that sometimes when kids say something, but not to get angry, not to get mad, but instead we need to explain it to be in a nicer way where they can also understand. I have also seen that sometimes parents, like let the kids behave in a certain way. I still remember that one kid always used to say bad words and certain kind of language to the kids with whom he's playing, or maybe to the older people. And I have seen that his mom would just laugh. She was just laughing, thinking that, oh, my kid is, like doing something really good work or something good jobs. And the mom would just laugh. And she would just laugh that, oh my God, look at my son, like how the language and the way he's trying to interact with other people, and he's just trying to make that he's smart. But this was totally wrong. And now it's to the state that that kid is not listening to his mother at all. He is also disrespecting his mother. He is also using abusive language to his own mother. So we have to be very, very careful, guys. And sometimes when we see that our kids are not listening and not behaving, we have to put our foot down. We need to even raise our voice when we have to. And also, we do not have to allow them to raise their voice in front of us. With my both kids, like my son is going to be 14, my daughter is going to be 17. So sometimes they get angry, right? Even though it's their mistake and they get angry. Right away, I tell them, do not raise your tone in front of me. It's your mistake. I do understand it. I do understand that you do not like the way which I'm saying it to you, but since it's your mistake, you are not going to raise your tone. Even I do not allow my kids to disrespect me, yes. When my son gets angry, he doesn't realize it. The words coming out of his mouth. So I always warn him that do not say when you are angry. When you're angry, then zip it up and sit down in a corner. Also, I have noticed that before, so many years back, when because of course we are living with in-laws, sometimes like so many things we are taking care of, so sometimes like we also get angry. And I have noticed that when I'm angry and my son is angry, like we both like get more and more angry. But I have learned that how to be peaceful and calm, and over a period of time now he gets angry, I do not say a word. I do not say a word, and I just go away and walked away from that place, and I will leave him for a few minutes. And after a few minutes he will just calm down and he will apologize to me. So it is also very important that when your kids are angry or when you're angry, you just have to stop yourself and not say or not take out your anger on your kids, because when we take our anger on kids, and sometimes they also get angry on us, and then things just get worse. So be very mindful and be very careful, guys, especially when you have young kids. You have to take the responsibility. You need to start looking at yourself, the way you are behaving, the language you are using, the words you're using in front of the kids. Because most of the time, when we teach our kids to behave in certain way, we teach our kids to be kind, to be nice, to be well disciplined, well mannered. But when we ourselves are not behaving in certain way, when we are not disciplined, when we are not well mannered, kids are not going to be the way how we want. For that, we have to watch ourselves, our actions, our words, because nowadays kids are very, very smart, and they learn from the surroundings. They learn from our behavior because they are noticing and they are watching us. So be very mindful, be very careful, guys. Thank you guys for coming and watching this video. I hope you guys like it. To all my subscribers, people who are helping me to make this video, and people who are inspiring this, thank you all of you. So till I see you next time, I Sangita Patel, take care, live with us of love, light and blessings. Namaste.